Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of a podcast dedicated to talking about the sport of triathlon. It's Talking Triathlon. I'm Tim Ford. That's James Bale, the great man himself. Jimbo, what's going on, mate? I can see that you are in a different setting this week. It looks like you're in a grocery store.
Yeah, man, I'm in a grocery store. No, I'm in France this week. I'm in France, mate.
Sorry,
No
so is
longer in
that
the
a
UK.
supermarché?
2 weeks in France. So this is the first of a double header from France. I'm
You're there for a
well.
while.
I'm well. I'm heading into the weekend. What day is it today? Thursday, Friday for you. Saturday is my birthday, so I'm doing a 39-kilometer trail race in the Beaujolais to celebrate 39 years on the planet.
Does that mean that you're finally running properly again? You're back
Yeah,
up
but
to it?
this is a very there's two over 2,000 meters of elevation, so it might sound like a long race, but it's going to be a long day out. Lots of climbing, hiking, running down hills, so it's more of a adventurous day out than a run, I would say.
Well, on behalf of our listeners, happy birthday for this Saturday, mate. Well done.
Cheers,
You don't
geezer.
look a day over 60, but that's
Yeah, you're not the first person to say that today,
oh really
but
sorry
yeah,
then. I
appreciate it.
thought I had some
I
good
got one of
original
those
jokes.
face app things. You know those face app that makes you older?
And it was the same.
I sent it to a friend of mine because he'd been taking the piss out of older look, and he said, "That's a great app. It's taken 20 years off you."
I I used one I tried one of those apps once to like make yourself look older. And I took the photo and went, oh fuck, it's literally my father.
I
I look exactly like my
look like
dad.
Terry Pratchett, mate.
Do you really?
It puts a white beard on me and keeps me bold, and I look like Terry Pratchett before he died.
A an off air conversation we were having this week was that you've changed your profile picture. So when you come up in the Messenger app that we use, it's like a different picture and it keeps throwing me off. And people won't know this, and I'll never share the images because you made me swear to all the gods that I never would. But last year you got a collection of AI images made, and there's one in particular that I love so much. And I think I even sent it to you, Minla. And for some weird reason, I mean, AI is interesting, but it's made you a priest with no lips.
Maybe the priest had it combined.
Yeah, your
It
lips.
merged my teeth with my lips, so I've got these like teeth gums. It's insane.
It's maybe my favorite photo, like in comments of you. That's and I mean that's a lot saying. We've got you with the hustle shirt on in Bahrain. We've got the white trike. Like there's the
There's
young
a few
James,
kicking
the
about. Yeah,
young
there are.
James, the young James photo on the boat is another absolute classic. But this this AI photo really, like, I've genuinely got. Is it that one or another one that I've got set as my on my phone? I've got the best contact photo for you as well. Like there's some absolute rippers out there. So
Yeah.
I
So
do
enough
need you.
about me though. How are you, mate?
No, all is good. I actually put myself last week on the wait list for a marathon.
Did you?
I did.
Fuck, we're both in the same boat at the moment.
Yeah, so my running is going really, really well. I did a huge run week, a couple of weeks like, I mean, for me, it was 8K, which is the biggest week I'd ever done. But I've been consistently sort of with a couple of deload weeks, but like, building up from, 60, 70 up to 80K week and, starting to see some speed and things like that. And I'm just loving running. I mean, I've always loved running, but I'm really like just enjoying the process and so grateful that my injury seems to be settled down. And I thought, there's no time like the present. Let's sort of have a crack at a marathon. I wouldn't mind trying to do
Which one?
I've put my name on the wait list for the Gold Coast Marathon, which is up in Queensland. My wife did her first marathon there a few years ago, and it's a part of the world that I really like. I didn't
When
think
is
it'd
it?
be July, first weekend in July 7, I think. And it was funny. So Reese Barclay is my coach, and I messaged Reese and I said, "Oh, mate, because we've got Cairns 7.3, got the London event." I said, "Do you think we could fit a marathon in early July and it won't impact like because I still want to do obviously I'm a 70.3 athlete. I want to do a 70.3. Like if I do this marathon, it shouldn't impact things. Like, what do you think?" And I get this video back and it made me laugh where it's him in my training peaks and he just goes to the 7th of July, hits event running marathon, just types YES in the event name. So I'm on the wait list for that. But yeah,
When you say you're on the wait list, is that was just waiting for somebody to drop out and
yeah.
then you get on it? Yeah.
What
What are your chances, do you think? I mean,
I
is
think
it
pretty
a
good.
no-brainer or?
I think pretty. I mean, I don't. It's. I firstly didn't even think it'd be sold out. Like the concept of marathons selling out. I mean, I understand the majors, right? A majors, right? But I thought most marathons wouldn't sell out because
Yeah, same. I would have thought most
it's
marathons that weren't the majors would be fairly easy to get into.
yeah, definitely. Like I really
Yeah.
again my ignorance, right? Because I'm thinking, well, there's no transition. The roads are closed anyway. As long as you're not going to take twice as long as they're like, what's sort of the issue? Like anyway, so we'll see. But if I don't get into that one, I'll get into. I will do a marathon this year, I think. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
pretty keen
on
for it.
a similar vein, I discovered that the London Marathon next year is going to be on the 27th of April, which is my 40th birthday. So I've decided, come hook or crook, mate, I'm going to go and run that race for my 40th birthday. I've applied for the ballot. I've applied for a few different charity places so I can guarantee a slot there. And I've contacted a run specific coach. So I'm really going to gun for that one and see what I can do.
I love it. It sounds good.
Need
It's
to
a great way to
lose a
celebrate your 40th
little
birthday.
bit of weight to take the speed up a bit.
Have you done a marathon before?
Yeah, I've done London twice, and obviously I've done the marathon at the end of Ironmans.
What's your marathon PB?
Oh, 4:05 or something.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Not very good. I can genuinely say I've never trained for a marathon properly. I've always been a half marathon athlete, raced them fast, or a half Ironman athlete, raced them fast. I've never done an Ironman or a marathon. I've always just gone and plodded around. I've never raced either, I would say.
I have done one marathon in 2012 and I had no, this is like what I just done, I'd done 170, had I done, I'd done 170.3 at this point. And I think I was like, well, I've done a half marathon, so a marathon's not that difficult. Didn't really, I think the longest training run I did was like 25 kilometers. Just rocked up, and all I knew was like, don't go too hard too early. So I'm like literally just jogging along, talking to people, whatever. And I think it was a 4 lap, it was in Trondheim in Norway. So the Trondheim Marathon, 4 lap course and 3:36. But it was the last 2 kilometers of that race. I still think I've always joked it's like the Cruciatus curse in Harry Potter. Like my legs were so sore. And I stopped at one of the aid stations to get a Coke. And I remember looking at my legs going, why won't you start again? What are you doing? We've got 2 kilometers. Like, come on, let's go. So yeah, it'd be nice to have a proper crack at one. I think.
Yeah,
I'd
same.
love to go.
I'd like to see how fast I could go. Obviously the dream is sub 3. Whether that's doable, who knows?
I think, I think I could do sub 3. I mean, I'd hope I could do sub 3 pretty comfortably, to be honest. But it's just that unknown, like distance, right?
Yeah, that moment is that moment when the
Yeah.
man with the hammer turns up.
Because I've done sub 80 and a half, like 6 times, 7 times, or something
Mm,
like that. So anyway, who knows? We'll find out. Maybe will
we'll
we?
find out.
If you want to
Yeah.
find out the inside soup and that sort of stuff, or what else has been going on, you can head to patreon.com/talking triathlon, where I swear we don't talk so much about ourselves, but more about the inside happenings in the sport of triathlon. You get a bonus monthly podcast, which we will probably record next week, mate, as well as the WhatsApp group, Facebook group, Strava group. We got our fantasy league, which, by the way, I managed to win the Singapore fantasy league for
I'm
talking
second to
triathlon.
last, I think, or third to last.
That's disappointing, but not
It's
surprising.
not good, is it? It's not good.
Pa-
No, do better.
Patreon.com/talking triathlon. Mate, as we sort of said before you record, there's plenty of stuff to get into this week. I think we will finish with Texas. That is the big thing we're probably going to talk
Yeah.
about. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the recently announced Supertri League calendar.
Let's do it.
Used to be what do they used to be called? Super
Very
League. Used to be
correct.
Super League. And now they're called Supertri League
Super,
calendar.
super try. Drop
Supertri,
the
just Supertri.
drop the league. No, no more league. The league is gone.
Okay. So they've announced their calendar for the year. Again, it's going to be culminating in Saudi Arabia, where Neom will host the fifth and final race. But in the build up to that, we've got Supertri Boston on August the 18th, Supertri Chicago on August 25th, Supertri London on September the 8th, and Supertri Toulouse on October the 6th. Toulouse being in France. So we got a double header in the US with weekend on weekend, and then sort of a month spread with September and October, and then over to Neom for the final.
Yeah, I like that it's a bit more spread out because I think we've seen the last few years that they've sort of tried to squash everything into 4 weeks. It's sort of been like back to back to back to back, and I never really liked that approach. I think this sort of bit more spread out approach, to me at least, is preferable. But yeah, a whole bunch of new locations. I mean, I think we touched on the rebrand when it sort of happened, but the big focus, right, for Supertri now is they're getting more mass participation events. We know that Supertri have been purchasing a series of events, especially in the US. That's why we have these races, the Chicago Triathlon and the Boston Triathlon. They also own the New York Triathlon. They had Malibu until all that hullabaloo happened. Uh, yeah, I think it's cool. I really like I think the timing's really good. There doesn't seem to be any massive clashes that I can see off the top of my head with any other events.
No,
And
I think it gives a chance, doesn't it, for those short course athletes who aren't the athletes that are gonna do the Olympics, then go and join the T100 or focus on the 70.3 Worlds or the rest of you know, it gives the chance for those athletes to bounce out the Olympics, get a bit of recovery and then do the Super League calendar if they want. And I'm up for it. I think the double header in America is quite an exciting weekend on weekend. And I've been at the London event a few times, and it's brilliant. It's in a really,
good
it's
spot,
not central London, it's kind of
the financial
near
district.
Canary Wharf, but it's a nice part of London. It's somewhere that's easy to get to. They put on a good show. You can get either side of the water course where the swim is. You can get across the course fairly easily. And Toulouse is a wonderful place, mate. That's where the sausages are from.
I did, you caught me off guard with that one. I've been at London, and the one thing I was really surprised. First, I think it is actually like a genuinely good like race hub. The thing that Super League
Mm.
the advantage Super League has is that it is such a like small compact course. But there was lots of spectators in London last year. Like genuinely, there
Mm.
was it was noisy, and that was something that I wanted to touch on from. I forgot to say it a few weeks ago. Was it last week when we were sort of talking about the Singapore race? Was Miami? I complained that it was very very quiet, and Singapore. I thought that when they got on the run, there was this crowd noise that added this extra element to it, and that's something you seem to always get with this. I mean, I know people are going to be banging on about Neom. I see it. I get it. I understand everybody's thoughts around that and don't disagree. But London and Toulouse, the crowd, the atmosphere was fantastic. I've sort of said this a fair bit, but I feel like there's this forgotten element with triathlon where, watching live sport on TV, you need to actually have people at the live sport. Like that, it really does add something. And I
Mm.
feel like these locations are, I mean, again, the Chicago Triathlon, for example, I know goes, in the Dark Knight when Batman's having that car chase with the Joker in the trucks and his Batmobile gets blown
Yeah.
up. So that they go under that tunnel in the Chicago
Oh, that's
Triathlon.
cool.
So I don't know if that's going to be part of the Super Tri course, but like these genuinely are pretty, red hot locations. I think
Yeah.
Toulouse is probably the best short course in the world. Like it's, so dynamic, exciting. There's the hills, there's the tight, winding little streets as they go down. Like it's great. And yeah, I'm truly excited for this Super Tri season because in a lot of ways, a lot of things Super League, Super Tri, I'm going to keep doing that. Like Super Tri to me is still the gold standard in terms of triathlon broadcast. It is the minimum standard that we should be expecting. And I rewatched or watched the replay of the arena games, the E games last week in
Mhm.
in London. And mate, I was blown away by how good that broadcast was. Like, we talked a
Mm.
lot about over they need to change this, they need to change this. They had. It wasn't the cameras on the Zwift avatars the whole time. They had the cameras on the athletes' faces, the Zwifting in the bottom. The stats they showed, heart rate, watts per kilo, gap, and it moved. I was like, this is it from what this is. This is the standard that we should be expecting. And it's I don't know why they just don't. They often sort of float under the radar. And yeah, I'm excited to see this year. What new they've got, right? Because if there's been all this
Yeah.
talk about broadcast, we've seen World Triathlon improve their quality a lot. If Super League's already doing a quality broadcast, what are they going to give us? Like, I think it's going to be something even better.
Yeah, I agree. Going back to your comments about Singapore, you're quite right that the addition of the crowd noise on the run added a 3D quality to the broadcast Miami didn't have. It was kind of like I was sitting there thinking it's like adding reverb to an amp when you're playing the guitar. It made you feel like you were in a room, and that's kind of how I felt. I felt like I was in a 3D space watching that race because I could just hear ambient noise in the background, and it wasn't just silence backing up the emptiness of the stadium I was looking at, which leads you down this road of just like, well, there's no atmosphere there, is there? But yeah, I echo your comments about this. I think their broadcast at the E Games was fantastic, and they have upped their game across the board on that. So you can only assume that they are. It's not good. I mean, it's the same organization, same race team, same team putting on the event. So that any improvements they've made to the E Games, they're going to bring across to this main series, and we're going to see, I think, probably the premium triathlon broadcast of the year. I reckon.
I mean, I agree. I really feel like they have set the standard or lifted the standard, right? I mean, I've talked about it, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. But like watching more triathlon, which I think has significantly improved this year. Like actually, if I took what World Triathlon did last year and what World Triathlon have already done this year, mate, I give them like a lot of praise. I think they've done an excellent job of. Is it perfect? No. Is it what I want? No. But it's if you want to watch those races, it is now it's a very easy, pleasant, enjoyable viewing experience watching World Triathlon events. And I swear, as much as that, like, because there's so much focus on them, because we have everybody, World Triathlon, PTO, Supertri, Ironman, everybody is focused on that broadcast. This is what you want, right? And I know that we cop a fair bit of stuff saying, oh, we're too negative, or we hate it or whatever. But the point is that you say the whole point of criticism, right, isn't to say you dislike something, you hate something. It's to say this is our feedback, so you take it and make it better. And it's really good to see. It seems, and I'm not. This isn't me saying this is us. This is saying the sport. The sport has given this feedback to these organizations a lot for years, and I feel like we're in a position where the feedback's been listened to, and we are seeing this stuff implemented and improved. And again, you would assume, again, we've got examples of things going a bit backwards, but I feel like this is, another step forward, which is exciting. And again, I mean, I caught up with Michael, the CEO of Supertri this week, and I said that to him. I said, I think you guys don't get enough praise for the what you guys have done in terms of triathlon broadcast is game changing. Like it is the standard, and yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, so am I. Talking about another triathlon event that's coming up in this summer, and that is the Olympic Games in Paris. Now, there have been concerns in the past
The duathlon,
about the water quality conditions. Hey?
the duathlon.
Yeah, the duathlon, because obviously the water quality event, water quality issues affected the test event.
Mm.
And there are concerns going forward that these issues might not be solved by the time the games came around. And I think we mentioned that some time ago. But World Triathlon have said they are confident the conditions will be better for many reasons. They've said that the project to make the Seine swimmable was initiated over 30 years ago. The project involves a large number of public entities. The aim of the project is to clean up the river and achieve water quality required by European directives. By the time the games come around, the various facilities and infrastructures in place for the Seine cleanup will have reduced bacterial pollution by 75%. Now, I wanted to bring this up because I find their mitigation, not their mitigation, their emergency push button, what happens if it doesn't work? Because they've got all these list of things of what they're doing. I won't read them all out. Stuff that they're doing to try and make the Seine swimmable. There's loads of stuff, and this has been going on for 30. They said the project started 30 years ago to make it swimmable. So if it started 30 years ago, at the test event it wasn't swimmable, there, what happens if all goes wrong answer would be if the water quality on the competition days during the Olympics is not within the limits, the first option is to use the reserve days. These days are considered in the program and have been agreed and discussed with Paris and broadcast to ensure the same experience, not only for the athletes, but also for spectators and TV viewers. The reserve days for the triathlon are 1 day later for each of the events.
Oh my God.
Now, I'm no expert. In fact, fuck it. I'm an engineer. I'm a water engineer.
Yeah, I
It's
think you
kind
are an expert, actually.
I am an expert. If the water quality on a project you started 30 years ago wasn't good enough last summer and then isn't good enough on the day of the race, is it going to be good enough the day fucking after? Is that when it all comes together? Now I understand that you can have moments of acts of God, you know, you a massive downpour of water where your storm drains are outputting and everything's just, if you have a huge storm, for example, you could have real water quality issues. But it's the middle of the summer. That ain't probably going to happen. What's probably going to happen is your standard of your water isn't going to be at a swimmable level. It ain't going to be a swimmable level the next fucking day. Now they say that if it's not good enough on the reserve days, the race format will then be altered, with athletes racing over an Olympic distance duathlon consisting of a 5K run, 40K bike, and a 10-kilometer run.
Jesus Christ.
Now they've got a list of mitigation measures they're putting in place to try and make the water swimmable. But my concern is if it's not if it wasn't swimmable last summer, if it's not swimmable now, because people are making noises now that it's not good enough, which means people are testing it in my mind. I don't have proof of that. But if the noise is still there now, 2 months out, 3 months out, then that means, in my opinion, people are testing it and going, it ain't good enough yet, it ain't good enough yet. When's it going to fall into place? Is it going to fall into place? I think we might be watching a duathlon in the summer.
I I find it, yeah, firstly, you're correct. If something's been taking 30 years and what's a day going to make all, are we going to get it fixed in the next 2 months? Probably not. Uh, however, however, I'm not as convinced we're going to see duathlon because I have this sneaking suspicion that they might find that the patch of water to do the test in the day of the race, that somehow maybe somebody trips over with 100 liters of water from a filter or something immediately before they test the water. So I have a feeling they will probably find a way to make sure that swim happens because these discussions were had in the lead up to the test event, right? And I know that they canceled the swim for the para event, but the men and women still raced in there. And yes, we know a lot of people got sick as a result of it, but they still put them in that water. And I just don't see them not, right? I feel like they'll go, no, no, we tested it, it's fine. Oh no, it's the water quality's changed in the hour since the race when we've retested. No, I think they'll do it. I think, and again, conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat on, whatever you want to say. They'll literally, guess what, athletes? I'd start taking some probiotics, getting your gut used to putting some literal shit in
Get
it because
get some flat coke as soon as you get out of that water.
you're going
Because
in that
they have
water.
there are wastewater pipes from housing that flows directly into the Seine
Still?
without being treated.
Is
That's
that
part of their mitigation, is trying to improve that.
wasn't I always thought
Which,
that was the whole project they've spent all this money on, right? Was to literally stop sewage going straight into the Seine.
yeah, I mean, that's part of it. They've got disinfection plants, they've got modernization of construction facilities, they've got treatment of connection areas on public sewage collection networks. Again, they've got removing that direct flow of sewage from people's houses into the Seine. Stationary boats in Paris to the sewage system created in the ports. More than half of the boats in Parisian ports are currently connected to the sewage system, and all of them will be by 2024 during the game. So at the moment, there's a huge amount of wastewater going directly into the river, untreated, which I mean, um, it's against the law in the UK to do that. I would assume it's against European regulations as well, which is probably what they're trying to bring it in line with.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not doing the Olympics. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
mate. Yeah, yeah. I mean, anyone with a sensitive stomach, even if you haven't got a sensitive stomach, in those conditions, if the water's not good enough, you're likely to get ill. So I would, yeah, get those probiotics, look after yourself, drink some flat coke as soon as you get out, and you know, is the shits worth a medal? Probably.
Yeah, probably. Probably is
Yeah.
actually. I was going to say that if it does become a duathlon, do you think that changes who we're going to see win this race?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it takes away any obviously takes away the power of any good swimmers. You know, you're suddenly you've got your if you're a really good swimmer, you're at a disadvantage. I don't think from the pool of people we're expecting to see win, any of those potential winners would be hugely disadvantaged by the swim being taken away.
I
So I
agree.
don't think we'll see a huge dynamic shift, especially when you look at the course and how flat and long and flat that bike is. You know, a 5K run, you're gonna stay as a fresh top level athlete, you're going to be relatively close to each other at the end of that 5K run at the start. You're then going to be on the bike. It's going to be a group. I don't think we're going to see much of a dynamic shift, no.
I mean, to me, the obvious sort of mitigation or plan B, like I would have said duathlon, probably plan C personally. I would have thought plan B, just find a different location to do the triathlon.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. Have a reserve location,
yeah,
somewhere beautiful in the countryside where you just bust people out. You do a triathlon.
yeah, I think that's like, I mean, look, I understand the whole appeal of trying to have this thing in Paris, right? It's the Paris Olympics, whatever, but
Mm.
like where they're doing
I
the
I
marathon
mean,
swim, for
there will
example,
be
where's
a
that happening?
duathlon world championships each year.
Yeah,
And what you don't want is your Olympic gold medal, your Olympic triathlon gold medal to be an Olympic
duathlon.
duathlon medal because because this happened. I mean, surely I am completely on board with you. Plan A must be have a different race location where you can do the triathlon.
Yeah, I just genuinely, I don't understand why that's not been.
Mm.
Yeah, anyway, who knows? But in terms of the winner, like I don't think I mean the three people that for me at least are the sort of like front runners for the Olympics and the men. I mean, to me it's more two, Alex and Hayden, and then the Christian unknown factor. But all three of them aren't exactly swim powerhouses, so not an issue. And then in the women's, probably who like at the moment the three. I mean, Cassandra is a very good swimmer, so that would probably disadvantage Cassandra Beaugrand, but also a very good runner. Beth Potter, very good runner. And then the plethora of other athletes, I would sort of consider that third threat at the moment. Uh, the Kates, the Sophies, the Georges, oh my God, I'm having a blank. She won the other day in Europe, French. Leah. What's? Do you know who I'm talking about? She won that European Cup in Spain against Kate the other day. She's Emma Lombardi. Sorry, that was it's early. All those sort of athletes, I think, yeah, like I don't see any of them. Like they're not winning a race by getting away in the swim. Like it's to me, I don't think it would really change. And it's interesting that we've sort of gone back this way because a few years ago we would really sort of talk in the women's race in particular how important the swim was. Like that period where we saw Lucy Charles, do the Leeds race, we saw Maya win it. We've not really seen that happen that much since. So I don't think it would really change the dynamic. But I mean, just on the Olympics, because we are getting towards I guess the silly season with qualifications and stuff, and the
Yeah.
two most difficult teams to qualify. I mean, the three teams at the moment for me, because I think it changes men and women, are the UK women's team, the women's US team, and the men's French team. To me, they at the moment are the three biggest question marks over who's going to
Yeah.
qualify.
And we've got Yokohama coming up, haven't we? And that's all eyes are going to be on the American team going into that, I think.
Yeah, and then
Women's team.
Cagliari for the UK women. I know that's a big race for the
Yeah.
British team, and then the Frenchmen, fuck knows. But like, just quickly off the top of your head, like looking at those three, who would you pick for? Who would be your three picks for the UK women's team and why? US team and why? And men's French team and why?
So the American women racing in Yokohama are Kirsten Casper, Taylor Spivey, Gwen Jorgensen, and Sana Rappenpour. They're all looking to get a podium finish so they can join Taylor Knibb on the plane to Paris.
Yep.
Ooh, I mean, I
I mean,
wouldn't look past Taylor.
I'd add Katie Zafiris to that. Like, as I know she might not be racing, but
Yeah,
like she's another one of those contenders.
yeah, yeah. She's absent though at this race, isn't she?
Yeah, but I'm more mean just in general because it's
Okay.
yeah,
Then, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't look. Katie Zavira's on her day. You never know what's going to happen. She's an amazing athlete, but Taylor Spivey for me
sure
is the
thing.
one that's shown consistency and form, and I think that she has got that drive in her, real focus and determination to do the job to get herself on that plane to Paris. I think.
Having said that, actually though, if the swim, like let's say Gwen does get picked, because I still don't think Gwen Jorgens is probably going to get a slot for the American team. It's been fantastic to watch her chase it. But if she did get picked and they cancel the swim, I suddenly think Gwen becomes a huge threat for the medal. Whereas
Yeah.
if she's in Paris and there's a swim, I don't think we see Gwen crack the top 20. But yeah, suddenly like that's an athlete who could benefit from it. But so your pick is, so we know Taylor Knibb's already got it. You're saying Taylor Spivey is your second choice. Who's your third choice for the US women's team?
I mean, so
It's tough, mate, isn't it? It's not easy.
It is tough. It's not an easy one. I mean, my head's saying they would go for someone like Summer Rappaport.
Okay.
Just yeah, I think so. I don't know. What do you think?
I would I think the Taylors are easy. And but the next sort of thing that I would add is Taylor Niv is not somebody. She's done well at mixed team relays and stuff, but never does Super League. We don't really see her do the super short stuff as often as those Americans who go race Super League. So I would say you've got. I mean, you want everybody who's on that American women's team is going to be a medal threat in the individual, but you also want to have the people who are going to be medal threats or the best team for the mixed team relay. So I wonder if that third athlete you pick is somebody who's sort of very good at that super sprint slash Super League distance, right? Because it is so short. And that's probably where it comes down to, yeah, Summer Rappaport or Katie Zafires. And
Mm.
Summer had that crash last year, she broke her jaw. I wonder if you do go Katie. I mean, if you had told me 2 years ago, I would have thought Katie would have gone to long course after Tokyo. Don't think she's going to be honest. But I'd go Katie Zafires at the moment, just because of that factor. Uh, Personally, I think that's the American. What about the British team, the one that's closer to home for you? So we've got Beth Potter's already got her spot, and then you've
Yeah.
got Sophie Caldwell, Kate Woff, and Georgia Taylor Brown, who are the mate. I mean, there's others obviously, but they're to me are the major three for those last two spots. Who are you picking of those three?
Georgia Taylor Brown and Sophie Caldwell.
Okay, how come?
Georgia Taylor Brown, pedigree and experience. Sophie Caldwell. Oh, I was going to say swim speed, but it's going to be a fucking duathlon, isn't it? um, Kate Watt. I mean, Kate is a
Woff, Woff. Don't get it wrong, mate.
Waff. Yeah, hell of a pick. I'm going to revise that, mate. I'm going to go for Kate and Georgia Taylor Brown.
They're my picks too, and that's like again, obviously I'm Kate's manager, and I'm not trying to be biased here, but like truly trying to be objective and look at the facts. I think it's a very similar situation to what I spoke about with the American women's team, right? Is that you've got like all four of those women are medal contenders in the
Mm.
individual. Kate was second at the grand final.
It's
We
the
saw
mixed
Sophie
team relay that brings that decision out of me,
exactly,
without question.
and Beth Potter, if she has one thing where we don't really see her shine, is she's not as good. I mean, I know she won the arena games, but we've not seen her shine at Super League. She's there or thereabouts, but she's not winning them all. Kate won Super League last year. We've seen Georgia win Super League.
Mm.
So, I mean, Sophie's also very good at it, but
Sophie's fucking good. I mean, this is you're
it's the
spoilt
worst.
for choice here.
The UK women's team
These are
is,
tremendous athletes, all on their own right, deserving of a place.
yeah, but
And that's the brutality of the sport, isn't it?
I'd also then go as well because Kate is quite young. I think that it's probably that good opportunity to also prime her up a bit because I would say that going into LA, Kate is going to genuinely be one of the. I think she's already a medal contender here, but I think she'll probably be going into LA as one of the absolute favorites. So I think you probably want to factor that into. But I think you sort of go Georgia and Kate for the mixed team relay, Beth for the, I mean, all of them for the individual. But I think that's the plan of attack that I would personally take in the women's race. And then the men's probably Johnny and Alex. I can't see them not picking. And people have been talking about Hugo Milner, but I think he's too green around the gills. And he got absolutely spanked at those arena games the other day. So while he's definitely on the
Yeah.
rise, he's still probably not ready. He's another LA athlete for me, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
French team. This one's an absolute doozy. This one is an absolute doozy because they've got Dorian Connix, who I believe, and again, I think Dorian Connix is committed or he's absolutely qualified, but he might have to prove form. Then you had Pierre Lecour, who I thought had qualified, but apparently hasn't. He still has to prove form. You then got Leo Berger, or Shepherdess, as he's known
Yeah.
on this podcast, and then Vincent Louis.
And Tom Richard,
I don't know who that is.
apparently he exists.
Yeah, but again,
Um,
I would say it's those four to me are the top contenders for
yeah, how many
French.
slots have they got again?
Three, three.
Three. That is a bastard, isn't it?
It's fucked.
Out of all of them, mate, I wouldn't take Vince.
Yeah, I'm as brutal as that sounds.
Yeah.
I mean, purely based on performances and whatever. Vince has been
Mm.
injured a lot, and we haven't seen Vince at his best for a while.
No.
And
And he's always been better at the sprint.
yeah, plus, and the
He's
other thing,
fucking brilliant in a mixed team relay.
yeah, that's the factor, right? But I think you got Leo
Mm.
Berger for that, right? Leo Berger won Super League last year, and Leo Berger could win. Like Leo Berger is to me, you can't not pick Leo. Like to me, Leo Berger, Dorian Connex are both locks. Leo Berger, Dorian Connex world champion, but then Pierre Lecour, mate, he's not far off. Like he's been up there thereabouts the whole time. While Vince has been injured and he's come back and he's doing some things. I just I think the French will pick him because it's Vincent Louis and it's France and it's the
I
Olympics.
agree. I agree.
If
I think if any country has a ability to
find a
ignore
spot for
this,
Vincent
to
Louis,
ignore the head and listen to the heart,
yeah,
it's France, and I know France very well. And I think, yeah, there may well be a it's Vince Louis, but they might prove me wrong. But I think a team, Dorian Connex, Leo Berger, and what's his name?
Delacour.
Billacourt. Oh, I mean that's a strong team.
Yeah, man. Like the French, if the French don't win how do I say that? But I think the French have to win the mixed team relay, right? They have to. Because you're going to have their women are going to be Emma Lombardi, Cassandra Belgrano, and Leonie Perriot. And then the men's. So you're going to have Cassandra Belgrano and probably Emma Lombardi in the mixed team relay with, let's say, Leo Berger, like Leo Berger, Vincent Louis, that four-man team. Whew, whew. Man, they'd have to have some pretty short odds, I reckon, because let's say UK's got Johnny Brownlee, Alex Yee, Kate Woff, and Georgia Taylor Brown. Also good, but uh, yeah, it's
Yeah, we've got silver medal written all over us for that one, I think.
I think and plus it's in France, right? Plus they probably get
Yeah.
murdered if they don't win it in Paris.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, look, we've done with. I just want to also give a few little results. I don't want to talk about them too much, but we had CV 70.3 over the weekend, where we saw Els Visser win in the women's race. But I wanted to give a shout out to Henry Schumann. Again, Henry's one of the guys I work with. Henry dominated, literally led from the gun. 1 minute lead out of the swim, 3 minute lead off the bike, and 4 minute run. Lead off the win over Sam Osborne. I think was second, and Tom Bishop was third. But that was Henry's first 70.3 win, and I just want to give him a shout out because he did it in style. And people who probably don't know, Henry's everything got stuck in Dubai with those floods the week of the race. So I think to get his bike there, stay calm, controlled. He borrowed a lot of equipment to then have that performance. Is really, really positive. I know that I've been having lots of conversation with Henry about sort of the plans post Paris, and there's been a few question marks over what he wants to do. But I think like Bahrain second, he's seen a pathway into longer course racing. That's exciting. So I want to give him a shout out there, and as well as Els Visser, who's on a red hot streak at the moment. And then we had the Wollongong World Cup. Now, I don't know if you saw any of this. Firstly, I've been praising the broadcast. The intent of the broadcast was very good, but there was something wrong with their connection because it was almost unwatchable because it kept firstly the women's it kept only showing 90 seconds and then refreshing, which I don't know. But in the men's, like it kept going all fuzzy and stuff. So it was really frustrating. But just again, one of the guys I work with, Jamie Riddle, came second his first World Cup podium. Unbelievable. Well done, Jamie. So a few little results there, but let's talk about the main event, mate. The thing that's happening this weekend.
Before we do
Oh,
that,
sorry, South Africa too.
yeah, before we do that, let's as Lionel Sanders has laid out what he's going to be racing for the rest of the year following his victory.
Can I
Thought
have a
that was worth a
guess?
mention.
Can I have a guess?
Yeah, go on.
I think he's gonna do, and again, I don't know to be honest. He is gonna do. I know. I think he said he's doing St George. I think I know that one. I think he's doing St George 70.3. He said, is that right?
Yeah.
He's then gonna do it. He has to do an Ironman to qualify
Which one's he going to do?
Lake Placid.
You
That's
fucking
Pro
nailed it.
Series. Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, and then he'll do Kona, and then
Then
70.3
he'll do
worlds.
Kona. He said he's not sure doing two Ironmans is the right decision. He's going to do Kona, and for that I have to qualify, but I'm not sure if it's the right decision for me to do two Ironmans before Kona. At the moment, he's only got Lake Placid lined up.
Okay, that's I good on him. I think that's probably. I mean,
If I was
like
him, if I had any way to get into his ear, stick to St George, Lake Placid, done. Don't do anything else.
I
Do that.
agree.
That's it.
I think so too. I think I really want to see him have red up crack at Kona this year. Um, And if his form at Oceanside was anything to go off, it could be red hot. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that makes sense. Oh, I did well then. I got it. No, I got it. Is it 70.3 worlds? I'm assuming he'll be there too.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Though oh God, mate, just go get a 70.3 world title, Lionel. You could win it,
Yeah.
mate. Do it. Uh, yeah, and then sorry, Ironman South Africa. I know that
There we go. Yeah, South Africa happened, didn't it?
did.
And what did we
Rasmus
get?
Svenningsson won, who
Yes.
the Terminator, as they call him, a triathlon mockery. That I know that they joke a lot about how insane his training is, but Rasmus again, he's an athlete. We've sort of been watching Rasmus for a few years because he sort of stormed onto the scene a couple of years ago with like absolute crazy bike splits, and then he's had a few hiccups along the way. So just to see him pull together this performance, in a real battle against Cam Worth was fantastic. So congratulations, Rasmus Svenningsson.
Yeah, Rasmus Svenningsson in first, Matthias Pettersson in second, and Cameron Worth in third.
And in the women's race, I cannot remember who won off I actually don't know off the top of my head. I think Didi
Marta Sanchez,
was first, who was second? Didi,
Didi
yep.
Diedericks, and Laura Zimmerman in third.
Interesting was that Daniela Reef was eighth.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah,
she's ratified. I believe that's all she needs to do as a former world
yeah.
champion. I think that.
Probably what she was after.
What was the race
Yeah,
in? Sorry, you go.
no, no, go ahead.
No, there was also a 70.3 in Spain that saw Leo Berger absolutely dominate as well. So there's been a few races that have been happening.
Yeah, it's kicking off, mate. The season's coming into view and it's really into focus, sorry. And we're gonna get race after race now, aren't we?
I did see Laura Philipp race that 70.3 in Spain, and again, I look at Laura Phillips here this year, and I cannot make sense of it. Like, are we going to see her do? Is she going to do any T100 races? Like, is she doesn't
No.
seem interested at all.
No, she doesn't seem that interested. She seems like she's very much a law unto herself, which, fair enough. She's a self-employed pro athlete. She can do what she wants, so.
Until you have a contract with a race company that says you've got to do. Anyway, we'll see. I'm curious to see
Yeah.
what the I guess the resolution is to that. But the race we want to talk about this week, we want to preview is Ironman Texas, the big race, the first Ironman race of the Ironman Pro Series. It is the size of the fields is once again crazy. It shows that there's a lot of interest in this. I think what Ironman have done has certainly got a lot of the pros very, very keen. Take it away. You've got the information there, mate. But what have you got for me?
Yeah, so the race is on Saturday, the 27th of April. Starts at 6:25 local time, which is 12:25 UK, 13:25 Europe, and 4:25 West Coast. The women will start racing 5 minutes later, and the race is broadcast live as it is the second of the dedicated Ironman Pro Series races, which are free to watch on the Ironman Pro Series app.
Is there a Pro Series app? I didn't know that.
Now, yeah, apparently so. I haven't got the Pro Series app. I couldn't find it, but
It's on outside.
yeah, yeah. So in the men's race, we've got Patrick Lang, who is the defending champion.
No, he's
No,
not.
two-time, sorry, not two-time, I didn't mean that. Two-time Ironman world champion Patrick Lang. Um, who else have we got?
Filet mignon is there. I can see filet
Yeah,
mignons
bear
on
with me. I've
the
got the
start
full
list.
start list here. Patrick Lang, Robert Wiecki, Matt Hansen, Joe Skipper, Mino Koolhaas,
Braden
Clement Mignon,
Curry,
Chris Lefferman. Who else have we got
Braden
of
Curry.
interest? Braden Curry. Um,
That's sort
Going
of
down through the start list here. Andrew Horsfall Turner from the
Andy.
UK is racing.
John Fuel, the
Friend of the podcast.
electrician, the pro electrician who's been
Yeah,
training with
yeah.
Joe. Yeah,
On the women's side, Kat Matthews is the defending champion,
yep.
following her calf tear in Miami. So I hope she races well. American Jocelyn McCauley, Marja Stage Nielsen is racing. Fenella Langridge is racing. Daniela Lewis and Alice Alberts.
Buddy
Hannah
Wilms,
Berry, Rebecca Clark,
Penny Slater.
Penny Slater and Kylie Simpson.
I listened to someone Cairns Ironman last year, I think.
Yeah. Again, they've got a replication of the prize fund. So it's 28,000 US dollars for the winner, going down to 2,000 for 10th place, descending as such. It's got a $1.7 million bonus prize purse. So the maximum possible point score will be 5,000 points for first place, with points for all the remaining professional finishes diminishing based on the time deficit for first place at a rate of 1 point per 1 second to the winner's finishing time. And I still fucking love that. And I'll never stop fucking loving
Yeah, I
that,
love
no
it
matter
too.
what Tim Hemming says.
Yeah, I like it too. How do you see this race unfolding?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's a tricky one. Should we start with the men?
Yeah, let's go to the men's. Or do you want to go to the women's? Because I think I have less to say about the women's race than the men's.
Yeah, okay, let's start with the women's race. Um, Obviously, an on-form Cat Matthews coming into this race in my head would be a clear favorite.
Yep, clear
Fenella
favorite.
Langridge is up there. Um, but the big question mark for Cat is that calf tear and how severe it was and how rehabbed and recovered she is. Because what the last thing we want to see is her pulling up again, either heading into the start of the bike or something like that, or on the start of the run, and uh, and derailing the rest of her season. So I think that's probably the biggest question mark going into this is what performance can she bring to the table?
I because I think what you're saying is the money, right? Is Cat Matthews to me is head and shoulders above the favorite here, but there's so many question marks over like how recovered is she? Did she force it? I mean, Kat's extremely intelligent. She's a physiotherapist. I think she's, if she's racing, she's thinking she's racing, but there's also that like voice in the back of your head, and I don't care who you are. You could be the greatest of all time, whatever. Those little voices of doubt will always be there when you've just raced, you've just had that injury, you've rushed, not rushed, you've had a very fast return. Like, does it mean that maybe we just don't see a push as hard as she normally would? And to me, like, I mean, I've said this on the podcast. I looked at what Kat said at the start of this year, where she wanted to do the T100 series, she wanted to do the Ironman Pro series, win it, and then go and win Nice as well. Like, it is a bit like you can't. I think we're seeing, and we said this last year, right? You're going to see that that's not going to. A lot of people come out with those aspirations and then very quickly go, no, no, I can't do that all. And I think Kat's probably going to be one of the first victims, not the right word, but maybe I guess I'd like to see Kat actually work out what's her focus for this year. Is it the Ironman Pro Series? Is it Nice? I'd like it to be Nice. Is it the T100 Series? Like, where do we see her really focusing her effort? Because Kat Matthews could win any race she starts, she could win. But if she tries to win everything, I don't think she will. And I don't want to see that for her. I don't want to see that happen again. What happened in Miami? So to me, that is the one if. But then again, there's some class, mate. Like, if we had to say that Kat has a weakness, it's the swim. And then you look at some of these swimmers: Fenella Langridge, Lauren Brandon, Rebecca Clark. Who was the other? Lottie Wilms. These are excellent swimmers, mate. Like, they're going to get out of the water, I think, with a pretty significant gap to some of those, the Kat Matthews of the world and stuff like that. So, like I said, Kylie Simpson won Cairns, mate. Like, she's no slouch. So I'm very fascinated to see how this will go. It, I think if Kat's injury's fine, I think she wins it. But if she's not, or I just worry that we could see this. I think she'll either win it or she'll DNF. That's sort of my prediction for Kat, and I hope that if she DNFs, it's just because things aren't quite right, and I've decided to stop, not pushed until it's gone
Yeah,
bad sort of thing.
yeah. I think if Cat doesn't win it, then we'll probably see Fenella Langridge do well here. Um,
I think Jocelyn McCorney
in,
beats Fenella Langridge personally.
Fair enough. But the annoying thing about this race is that we've just seen Oceanside and we saw how much Taylor Knibb absolutely thumped everybody by. And then you watch this race and let's say Fenella Rain wins. In my head, I'm just going, well, if Taylor Knibb was there, she just spanked you.
It is the one thing, right, with because I mean we'll talk about the men's race. This pro series for the men's, I think, is it's awesome, right? Like, there's some real key players. They're big names. It could go either. Like, there's a lot of, like, we got. Whereas the women's is still just a little bit like there's a lot of names not on the list that I wish were on the list. Like imagine a Laura
Yeah.
Phillip, imagine a Daniela Reef,
Yeah.
you
Sky
know,
Munch, get Sky in there.
yeah, like
You
there's a
know,
lot of athletes I really would have liked to see on this, and it is, I do find the women's, not to say that the people who are doing this pro series aren't exceptional, and again, maybe we're going to see them. Maybe this is the race they're opting out of, and they're going to pick others. But so far, I have been a little. I mean, as I said, like watching the Oceanside, you knew that Emma Pallant-Brand, you knew that Taylor Knibb, like those guys aren't doing the pro series, so I didn't factor them into my decision make. Like trying to actually find the athletes committed to the Ironman Pro Series, it's not easy or obvious, I guess. And even at this point, if based on it, the names that I'm saying are the Kat Matthews, the Fenella Langridge, Jocelyn McCauley, Rebecca. Like it's not the Patrick Langs, it's not the Joe Skippers, the Braden Currys. Like there's just, yeah, I don't know. So it's the PTO's definitely got the upper hand in terms of the big names for their series. But yeah, I'm going to say Kat Matthews wins this. I think she wins it. Uh, yeah, and if she's injured or DNFs, then I'm going to go Jocelyn Corley. I think is my backup.
then I'll go for Fenella Langridge, I think. I think she's due a victory like this, and I think that swim speed that she's got will set her fair for the race.
She won't be first out of the water.
We'll
Lauren,
see.
Lauren Brandon will be first out of the water.
We'll see.
Men's.
Men's race.
Yep.
It's a tricky one, mate. I'm struggling to call this. I was
Yeah.
speaking to Andrew earlier today, Andrew Horsfall Turner, who's on the start list, who's over in Texas.
I picked him for fastest
And
swim, actually. I hope I did. Jesus, I better check
I
that.
picked him. I picked him for fastest swim.
We better. He's
I'm
he's gonna get fastest swims.
He's going to be first out of the water without question. In fact, I mean, quick focus on Andrew because he's obviously kind of still in the neo-pro type category, having had a frustrating year last year. He's going into this race. He will lead out the water, and he's going to have a strong race, I think. And I think we could see him gaining a qualification spot for Kona off the back of this because you've got 6 slots at this race
Mm.
and
Few
you've
people
got
already
six
qualified.
athletes who've already qualified. So you could, if the chips fell in the right way, you could finish 12th and qualify for Kona at this race.
Mm.
If everybody who's qualified finishes, and then those slots just get pushed. So yeah, I think Andrew's going to have a good race. Now I did the fantasy thing
Hmm.
for both men's and women's.
Hmm.
Um, I picked Joe Skipper to win this, mate.
So did I.
And I think there's an element of my brain that's going like whispering Patrick Lang at me. But I just think that there's something about Joe going into this race. I feel like he's got the win behind him. And I really liked what he did at Oceanside. I thought that it was a mature, composed race from a really sort of focused Joe Skipper. And that I think is a dangerous thing going into a race like this.
Yeah, look, again, full disclosure, I work with Joe, and this is me truly trying to be objective with this, right? I was with Joe in Nice after what happened in Nice. I went and stayed with him in Norwich after that as well. But I was with Joe when we heard that this pro series was a thing. Like we were literally walking through the streets in Nice, and one of the guys from Ironman pulled Joe aside and was like, "Hey, this is this thing," and like we literally like Joe was like, "This is what I've been asking for years." He goes, "The thing that bothers me with what's happened today is I'm not going to get another chance to race the best for 12 months. Like I want to be able to give me yeah, let's do it in 3 weeks. I want to do it again." And we've not seen him race an Ironman since, which for Joe is like it's quite a gap for Joe
Yeah.
to not have done an Ironman. He is all in on this series, and there's the thing that I think we often forget about Joe is Joe always races best in America. I think that I have some insight into how he's going. Not, I don't obviously look at the numbers. I'm not his coach, but I think he's laser focused on
He
this
does
series.
well in the heat, mate. For a
Surprisingly well.
pasty fucking Brit, he
Yeah.
does well in the heat.
Then, so the Joe stuff aside, looking at the other guys, Clement Mignon, he's on and off, right? He
Yeah.
wasn't,
He's there or thereabouts.
and he was in Singapore. I think he was there off the top of my head, but he either DNF'd or he was quite far back. I'm not convinced. If he's on, I think he's very, very dangerous. He could be an absolute threat for the win. Patrick Lang, though, this is a really interesting season for Patrick Lang because he's committed to the Ironman Pro Series and Roth, and we know Patrick Lang. He measures his success of winning world championships. So Kona is his goal, and I wonder how. And so traditionally, we see him do one Ironman before Kona. Really, we're talking this year of doing three, so four Ironmans in a year, including Kona. And I cannot. It doesn't make sense to me. Like that's not how Patrick Lang races, and I therefore
No,
wonder which like he was off in Oceanside. Like he was much further back than I would have anticipated with his run. So I don't know where his fitness is. I know he's better at Ironman, but I just don't see him going out there and racing every Ironman as hard as he normally
no.
does.
And that's where my head's at as well, because my brain is going, right, take this race out of context and just put it as a flat out race. And this is like, I don't know, make this the world championship with this start list. My brain would be saying to me, Patrick Lang is definitely, going to be gunning for this.
Yeah.
But you put this race in the context of where it is, in the context of what he's probably trying to achieve this season and what matters to him. I don't see him going to the absolute edge on a race like this. Or he will do within the confines of where he's at in his season, if you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I just think that there's something about Joe Skipper going into this race, mate. I feel like he's might be about to paste his masterpiece with this Ironman Pro Series.
He
I might be
also
wrong.
he
Might
also
lose
went
his
on
running shoes. Who fucking knows?
go of course again. No, I think Joe is like he's dotting his I's and crossing his T's this year. Let's put it that way.
Mm,
And he copped a lot of shit online for going off course last year in Texas. And again, I know he's a bit of a character, but like that gets in you. And I think he's got a point to prove. His swim was absolute shithouse in Oceanside, and again, it's not reflective of where his swimming is. But the other athlete that I think, like the other athlete that keeps me awake at night looking at this pro series is Braden Curry.
yeah,
Braden
agreed.
Curry to me is the most dangerous name on this start list because again, he's had a series of weird results. Like he's been God knows doing what. But fuck me, he is deadly, mate. Like Braden Curry, we saw him get that third place in St. George a few years ago. He lost that. I said it 100. He lost that race. Christian didn't win it. Braden lost it. But Braden Curry is the real name on this where I just go, yeah, okay. And again, same thing. Like he's so good at the iron distance race. He's a strong athlete. The heat's maybe a slight question mark, but he's the guy that I like. I think to me, the three real threats to this pro series are Braden, Patrick, and Joe. I question how serious Patrick's taken it when he is going to be, and not that the other guys aren't focused on Kona, but they're going to be trying to do as well as they can in Kona in the context of the pro series.
Yeah,
Uh,
totally.
so yeah, Braden is the other one that I mean, look, there's so many good names on this list. Like honest, and I never Nick Thompson's one we shouldn't sleep on. Jason Pole. Actually, I ran into Jason once. It was when we were in St. George, and I was on this loop, and I was having a chat with him. He's a really nice guy. Robert Willowiceki, who we all know has the world record for the fastest indoor Ironman, our friend from a few years ago, but like super talent, mate. Like that guy can swim like
Yeah,
the
totally.
absolute clappers. You talked about Anti
Chris
Horsford
Lefferman's there as well.
again, probably America's, one of his
Yeah.
America's most underrated iron distance athletes. Like there's a
Matt
lot of,
Hansen.
again, imagine the run battle between Patrick Lang, Joe Skipper, Braden Curry, and Matt Hansen. Like Matt Hansen's got what the
Yeah.
second fastest marathon off the
Yeah.
bike in history. Hey, there's a lot that could happen here, and this is a race where I think the swim's going to play a big factor. To be honest, like how big a gap is
Yeah, I
Matt?
agree.
How big
I
a
agree.
gap
And
is Joe going to have?
that's in my opinion the only worrying factor with Joe. I know you say that Oceanside wasn't reflective of his swim, and I agree with you because he got blindsided at the start, probably his own fault.
Yep,
Um,
wasn't paying
but
attention,
yeah, and then
daydreaming.
got caught in that melee, and it was a melee.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that's the only point where I think he could really fall down. Um, but I mean, we'll find out, won't we? It's going to be an interesting day. I should have finished my race just in time to see them get onto the bike. So I'll be settling down for the evening with a cold beer. First beer of the year, mate. This will be.
Well, there you go. I feel like you did. It sounds like you say this a lot, where you had or maybe beer, maybe you had wine or something not that long ago, a couple of weeks
No, no,
ago.
I haven't drunk any alcohol since New Year's Eve.
There you go. Have you got your picks? Because I got my pick. I got my fantasy league picks. Again, you can head to Patreon, join our fantasy league if you like. I
Yeah.
have.
Oh,
I'll
hang
go
on.
first because I got mine in front of
You
me.
go first.
So
Yeah.
I've got Joe Skipper for the win, Braden Curry for second. You can do a hot pick where you can like lock a person in, and you get double points if you get it right, and you lose points if you get it wrong. So I locked in Braden Curry as my hot pick in second. In third, I've got Patrick Lang. Fourth, I've got Robert Willowiceki. And in fifth place, I've got Florian Angert. Again, a person we didn't even mention. But Florian Angert is also an incredibly, incredibly talented athlete who is extremely dangerous on this race. So that's my men's. Have you got yours up?
Yeah, my men's, I had Joe Skipper in first place, Clement Mignon in second,
Wow.
Andrew Horsfall Turner in third, Patrick Lang in fourth, and Braden Curry in fifth.
It's a good top five, mate. Like that's a very good
There's a little bit of wishful thinking in there in certain elements, but we'll see.
women.
Women, shall I go first on the women?
Yep.
First place I had Fenella Langridge. Second place, Jocelyn McCauley. Third place, Lottie Wilms. Fourth place, Maja Stage Nielsen. And fifth, Danielle Lewis.
So you've gone the cat's not finishing this race. She's gonna
Yeah,
DNF.
yeah. I mean,
No,
look,
again, I get it. And I think it's an extremely like it's a concern for me, right?
and I hope to God that she doesn't finish because she makes a sensible decision,
Yeah.
not because she injures herself any further.
Plus, again, it's funny how like yeah, like I take this fantasy thing like quite serious. Like this is purely me trying to win this thing. I got Kat Matthews for the win. I got Jocelyn McCauley in second, Fenella Langridge third, Lottie Wilms in fourth, and Maya Stage Nielsen in fifth. That's my top five picks for the women.
Who's your hot pick for both?
I only picked one. I think you know Braden Curry was my hot
Oh, you
pick.
only got one. Okay, so who's your hot pick? Braden
Braden
Curry.
Curry, yeah, Braden Curry. I picked him for second place in the men's,
Uh,
not the women's. Stupid.
yeah, fucked it. Really fucked up your pick.
Who's your hot pick?
Joe Skipper, because I got most points for him if I picked him for a hot pick.
Yeah, fair enough. You know you lose them though if you don't.
We'll see. I didn't read the rules, mate.
I
I'm
love it.
not I'm
I
not
got
one of
Ant
these people that sat at home in my teenage years playing Football Manager. You probably did. Did
No, I
you?
didn't. Did not.
You didn't?
I
You're not a
got
pro Football Manager person?
no, I'm not. I got Andy and Lauren for the fastest swim. I think I put Kat and Joe for the bike, although maybe I should have put Florian Angert. And I've got Lang and Kat for the no Fenella. I put Fenella for fastest bike, did I? Okay, anyway, and then I think I put Lang and Kat for fastest runs. I think off the top of my head.
I've got my fastest swimmers were Andrew Horsfall Turner, Fenella Langridge. Fastest bikers were Joe Skipper, Fenella Langridge.
It's a good shout.
Fastest runners were Lang and Fenella Langridge.
I don't think Fenella Langridge is getting the. I'll give you the fastest swimming bike, but she ain't getting.
Yeah, yeah.
I will.
I think she's gonna have a blinder.
But there's some real, yeah, yeah. Maybe I'm happy to be proven wrong.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
see what happens. We'll see what
yeah.
happens on the day.
Well, look, there we go. That's it. I hope the racing is excellent this weekend. I know there are other races that are happening, but that'll do. We're good for another week, Jimbo. If you guys want to tell us your picks, please leave them on YouTube. We appreciate the comments. You might even get a weird response if you put ones that I think's bullshit. Uh, Jimbo, if they want to find out other things about us, what do they need to do?
Yeah, if you want to support the show, jump on at patreon.com/talking triathlon. If you want to follow Tim, he's at tford14 on Instagram, and I'm at bale.james85 on Instagram. Find us across all social networks at Talking Triathlon on Insta, at Talk Triathlon on Twitter. If you join up on the Patreon group, you'll get access to the monthly bonus episode and the social group and the WhatsApp group, and you can be part of the little burgeoning community we're building. It's good fun.
Now, it's a bit of a callback, but at the start of the episode, we were talking about the old man image, and I just checked my phone while James was talking, and I could see that an image has come through. And you know who you actually look like to me in this photo?
Terry Pratchett.
I was going to say Nick Offerman.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Mate,
Good looking man.
it's quite a good look for you, actually. There you go. I think you should. That's a beard that I should.
Maturing like a fine wine, mate.
Exactly. Jimbo, yeah, thank you guys. If you haven't already, head to YouTube, subscribe. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers, so that'd be a big help for us. A pleasure as always. We'll be back next week, and until then, thank you very much, Jimbo.
Cheerio.